This isn't about just this election, this seat in Congress. What this is about right now is this moment in America. Right now, whether we like it or not, we live in a historic time. This is a moment where it's going to shape this country for years and years. I often say, the next 4 to 5 years is going to shape the next 4 to 5 decades. That's the entire, future for my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old and your kids and your grandkids and the rest of our lives. That's what we're talking about right now. I know it sounds heavy. And I know often that asks us to say, well, what are we going to do about it? What can we do as individuals? And what I hope you take away from this is that we here in the New Jersey 3rd Congressional District, we can do a lot. We have been afforded an opportunity to shape this country, to shape this state, to shape our community. And I need your help to be able to maximize that. This district, the 3rd district that you are a part of, welcome, we're excited to have you. This is a district that has been at the front lines of this battle for our democracy over the last couple of elections. In 2018, I took on an incumbent at a time when people told me this district was impossible to win. It was an incumbent who won by 20 points in 2016. Trump won this 3rd district by 6 points in 2016. And they said, look, you seem like a nice guy and all, but you never ran for office before. I never earned a 6-figure salary before. I was a government employee. I don't come from a rich or powerful family. But we felt it was important because this is our home. This was where I was raising my then newborn and 2-year-old. And I wanted to do something. And what we pulled together was the most extraordinary grassroots operation in New Jersey history. We had 3,000 people knocking doors in the final 3 days of that campaign. And on election night, it was incredible to see all of that come together. But on election night, it ended with me still 2,500 votes down. It wasn't until 9 days after every single ballot was counted, that we pulled into the lead. I tell you that because it matters. I'll tell you that as someone who went to bed on election night in 2018 thinking I had lost, and then realizing that there still are votes out there. Every single one matters. It was the tightest, closest win on the entire East Coast of the United States in 2018. Then we had 2 years to represent the 3rd district. We did town halls all over the place. We built a constituent service operation, which I think is the best in the entire country. We went out there and engaged with the community. The work that I did on the small business committee in Congress, the work that I did for our veterans, our military, and others. We showed people that there's a different way to do our politics. Right now, I think everyone sees just the vitriol and the anger and the hatred that spews into our cable news, into our politics. I get it. I see it. A lot of these people are my coworkers in Congress. I understand how challenging it is. But in this district, we showed that there's a better way. A way that we can lead by service and humility. A way that we can show that we're focused in on the community and not about egos and ambition. And what I'll tell you is that it worked. This district in 2020, which again voted for Donald Trump for president, voted for me a second time, and I was able to outperform Joe Biden by 8 points in this district to show that this district understands what it is that we're trying to do. I am now one of only 7 Democrats left in the entire country that represents a district that Trump won in 2020. That's it. There are only 7 of us. Right now, in the House of Representatives, and I'm going to go back down there on Tuesday, we only have a 3-seat majority in the House of Representatives. That means if me and 2 others of these Democrats in these districts Trump won, if we lost in 2020, we'd have a very different America. We'd have a Speaker Kevin McCarthy. We would probably have a Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan right now. Sorry if you just ate breakfast and that made you a little sick. But we'd have no rescue plan, no infrastructure plan, no chance at any of the things that we're trying to get done. And I get it. I know we have not gotten everything that we wanted through Congress passed into law. I feel that frustration too. But that frustration isn't at any single individual or any single party. It's about this moment. This historic moment in America. What I ask you to think about in this moment is this question of, what are we going to do about it? If this is a historic moment that's going to shape decades to come, what are we going to do? You all, by showing up here today, you show me what you're willing to do. You show me that you're willing to step up. What I'd like to do is find a way for us to work together to do what we've done in this congressional district before, which is put together and build an extraordinary operation. To be able to show the rest of our community that politics of anger and hatred, it's not us. That doesn't represent who we are. That we're a community that wants to protect women's reproductive rights. We're a community that thinks that women and girls today shouldn't have less rights than they did 50 years ago. We're a community that sees the violence in our schools and in our kids' communities and our grocery stores and says, we can solve this. This is not a moment for helplessness. This is a moment for action. I ask you to think about what it is that brought you out here today. It might be different issues, different topics that you care about than the person standing next to you. You might have gotten engaged in politics yesterday or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But I ask you to think about, what was it that pushed you to get engaged? For me, it's very easy. It's my kids, it's my family. This congressional district is the only home I've ever known. I did my entire kindergarten through 12 in the public school systems of the Jersey 3rd Congressional District. This district gave my parents good paying jobs, gave me a public school education that allowed me to become a Rhodes Scholar and get a PhD. My parents were still deeply disappointed I didn't become a doctor or a lawyer, but that's another story. But I think I've done okay. I've worked hard. And now I've had the chance over the last 15 years to serve this country. Whether that was in Afghanistan or the White House or now in the Capitol, I feel blessed to have had that opportunity. All of that came from here. This is my home. And when my wife and I thought about where we were going to raise our kids, a 2-year-old and now a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old that some of you have met, they're real. We got a lot of energy. We'll just leave it at that. But I'll tell you, I'm going to have a rising 2nd grader and a kindergartner this fall, and there's no place on earth I'd rather raise them than right here. That's why we're here. So for me, that's my North Star. And I ask you to think about, what's your North Star? What is it that got you involved? What is it that keeps you engaged? Because that's what we need right now. I've often said that the opposite of democracy is apathy. It's if you feel like the challenges are too great to solve or the problem's too big to get engaged. And I want you to fight back against that. I want you to fight back against that feeling of helplessness. Because right here in this community, we know exactly what we need to do. There are only a handful of congressional districts in the country that are going to shape the future. Only a handful of districts that are going to determine who controls the majority in Congress. And sadly, from the couple years of experience I've had in Congress, I've learned that there's no second place in politics. You either win or you don't. And I refuse to lose. I refuse to give in to that hatred and allow that to take a grip over our country. I refuse to allow those leaders that are willing to put themselves above what's best for this nation to have the levers of power that are going to shape the world in which my kids grow up in. So I'm going to do everything I humanly can as a father and a son of this community to try to steer this country in a better path. But I can't do it alone. As Robin mentioned, there's lots of different ways that you can get engaged. Door knocking, phone banking, chipping in dollars when you can. I remember my first race. There's this woman that showed up at the office once, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so nervous. Like, I don't know if I can do it. I've never knocked doors before. I've never made phone calls before." And I told her, "Look, I never ran for Congress before." Like, we're all doing things that are new to us. And trust me, sometimes it's tough. It's challenging sometimes for me to come and speak to folks I never had the chance to meet before. But I do this because I know exactly what I need to do over the next 5 months for my country. And I hope you leave today feeling that same way. You showed up today, and I applaud you for that. What I ask of you is, what are you going to do next week? What are you going to do next month? What are you going to do leading up to November? If you feel the same way that I do about the challenges that we face and the urgency of this moment in this country's history, I ask that you make a plan. A concrete plan of what you think you can do between now and Election Day. Liz from my team is right there under the umbrella. I know Robin and others were happy to chat with you. But if you could make a promise to knock a few doors or make a few phone calls, or if you don't mind us coming to your backyard, or if you'd rather mess up your neighbor's house, we can do it there. You can volunteer them to do it. If you can chip in some dollars so that we can run the ads that we need to, because right now it looks like, and we'll see what Tuesday comes up against, but it looks like I'll be running against my third straight multi-millionaire self-funder. Someone whose family's so wealthy that for his birthday just a couple weeks ago, his mom gave him a $2 million super PAC for his birthday, which I didn't realize was a thing. My birthday's coming up, so I gotta tell my mom about that. But look, this stuff matters. And we in this district can really do a lot to shape the future and the trajectory for our country. So no pressure, everyone. Don't mess up, right? I'm ready to do everything I can, but I need your help. And I hope you take this call to action as a tangible way that you can make a difference in this incredibly important moment. So I appreciate all of your help, that you showed up today. I'm looking forward to working alongside you for the months to come and standing alongside you on election night, hopefully victorious, hopefully feeling like we did everything we could for our families and for this country and this community we love so much. Thank you, everyone.